It was like a food desert. We only had corner stores. We had, they say it was a market, but it never had fresh produce.
If you want to cook a meal, you got to take a bus, and it's about an hour round trip to the nearest supermarket, which if you're carrying groceries is like an ordeal.
In some communities, there's what we call a food drought and a shortage.
There's children that might have more heart attacks, might have more diabetes, might have more anxiety and depression. Those are all things that poor food access has been correlated with in children and in adults.
There's a grocery store here, so people don't have to travel long ways to get their groceries. And it's because it's focused on local produce.
I really believe that this model of a grocery store and this concept of community taking control of their food supply is something that's just too important.
Our mission is to provide fresh, quality, affordable food.
It's educating people on how to eat better.
I always see whole families there. They all bring their children with them, and that's teaching their young children to shop for what they're shopping for.
This food doesn't travel far. So generally when we get it, it's so fresh and beautiful and more flavorful and nutritious.
It's an incentive for them to continue to eat healthy because they can afford it.
We try to keep the prices low enough where people who are on food stamps and other services that they could come in and have a choice, and you don't have to pay a high price.
Oh, we thought we made it to Manchester. We made it to heaven.
When people come in and they smell the food, they want to know what's cooking, what's the recipe, they want to try it, and a lot of times they'll go and buy the ingredients and cook it themselves.
Chefs generally prefer flat leaf. Why?
Millie's been combining the gardening with cooking, and that's been eye-opening.
So if you take a class like this and you introduce them to things that they're not familiar with, explain why they work well in terms of nutrition, and allow them to taste it, then they're more likely to purchase it and make it part of their diet.
Now we're getting some of the shoppers on Wednesday to come in and make dishes that they make at home that we have never had.
Food is a community thing, and food was meant to be a thing that, you spend time with people preparing, and then you spend time with people enjoying.
Teach children how to cook healthy. More than likely they'll eat healthy.
You should have something healthy to eat almost every day so your body can stay strong and healthy.
If they want to eat healthy, that'll be the best place to go.
If you don't have money to pay for the membership, you can volunteer your hours in the store or in the garden.
If you have the community going, that means it's for the community. So they could come down here and get some things that can make their food supply go farther.
It really brings people together. We built an amazing community around the garden.
That's the whole goal of City Greens, is to have the community work together. All ages, all races.
We also have the Kids Corner, which is a little hangout spot for them because the kids need to have somewhere to, sometimes hang out too while their parents are shopping.
They could just sit in a window, color or read a book, eat an apple, and chill out.
It's full of information, it's full of recipes, and it's actually full of love.
During the vegetable growing season, we buy from dozens of farmers who deliver sporadically throughout the week.
Know your farmer, know your food. Being comfortable with knowing that your food is coming from a farm that the grocery store knows, has visited, knows what their farming practices are, and has that relationship with the farmer.
You can talk to them about, where do they farm, how do they farm. Tell me about this variety of, peppers or whatever you're growing.
We deliver the day after harvest. We strive to send the best, freshest produce.
You've got the nutrients from a freshly picked crop rather than a wheat coming from California or out of the country.
It's pesticide-free. It's wholesome food.
She's the backbone of the farm. Between her and my son, there's a lot to do here.
I feed the chickens and get the eggs. The customers like them dark orange. We take them to City Greens Market.
One of the problems we have in society is processed foods.
Here you're having access to food that's not as high in sugar and salt.
The type of food that they offer helps a lot with the obesity crisis and the diabetic crisis.
Dr. Arthur at the Pediatric Center at SLU Hospital came up with this program that he calls his Healthy Food Prescriptions. And so when he can tell that he has clients who are food insecure or their health problems are clearly related to their diet, he encourages them to come shop here at City Greens.
When families get a food prescription, they not only get $10 of free groceries, but they also have a year membership.
They can take that prescription to City Greens, and City Greens will complete that prescription with fruits and vegetables, and it's beginning a process of thinking of food as medicine.
I'm treating it just like a medicine. I'm saying, I've made an intervention, I've made recommendations for nutritious food and exercise, and let's see how your medical condition has changed over time.
Well, if you don't take care of yourself, who is? Who else gonna do it? And they say your body is your temple, so you gotta take care of your temple.
There's children that might have more heart attacks, might have more diabetes, might have more anxiety and depression. Those are all things that poor food access has been correlated with in children and in adults.
I think if kids and adults eat healthier and know what they're putting in their bodies, diseases wouldn't be so prevalent.
Being in a place where most of the people here are volunteers and they're here because they want to be, just lends so much wonderful energy to everything.
It's always ways for people to volunteer. It could be an hour a day, an hour a month, an hour a week, or more.
The priority for me is volunteering regularly at City Greens. I'm there on the busiest day of the week when we have a lot of deliveries and all the farmers and stuff comes in.
We think everybody should be able to have good, fresh food, no matter what situation they're in.
You can donate on our website. You can sign up for a membership. I've noticed that there have even been a few people who've signed up for memberships. They don't even live in St. Louis. They just support the mission and they support the idea of a community taking control of its own food supply.
Corporate sponsorship is very important.
This is a store that is designed to improve people's health, create community around food, and supports a local food system.
Give to City Greens Market.